Awesome. So welcome. Firstly, most importantly, Henri, welcome. Welcome to Delivery. Welcome to your first Delivery weekly meeting. Please, everyone, could you schedule in a coffee chat with Henri over the next week or so, so that you can all start to get to know each other.
Yeah, hello. Looking forward to meet each of you in a coffee chat.
Awesome. And so initially, Henri will be focusing on the Kubernetes work and getting up to speed there to help out with the migration. And then we can bring him into the release management work as well. Cool. Are there any, Skarbek, was there anything you wanted to add about your announcement about the DNA meeting?
No, just a notification that if you're curious, maybe consider joining.
Awesome. Cool. And I've added in the details for the General Assembly as well, which is this week. Full details. Most importantly, it's in Hopin, not in Zoom. So you do need to find the details for that. Cool. So to discussion points. Alessio, over to you.
Thank you. So basically, last week, I got a ping because a long time ago, I wrote this epic about bringing auto-deploy to components. And basically, someone from GitLab shell just woke up and said, yeah, maybe we could get some advantage here and have the auto-deploy features. I went through, it was very long. Kubernetes migration was not, it was very far away. So the point is that we have a disparity between what you can get today with VMs deployment and what we can have on Kubernetes. And the disparity is that now that Yorick did all the hard work in automating the public release with the APIs, with, let's say, a couple of code changes, it's easy to add something that is handled by a version file in the GitLab repo to an omnibus package to an auto-deploy omnibus package. So if that component is deployed on a VM, it's trivial to give them auto-deploy. But if it's in Kubernetes, I'm not quite sure we are on the same page, because the chart we are not using. Charts are more complex, right? So I don't think we are bumping or building images from shells based on the content of the version file in GitLab repo. So this means that, for instance, GitLab shell cannot get this advantage because it's completely deployed in Kubernetes. So even if they can get into auto deploys so that the monthly release will be automated, but we will not be able to deploy this just out of the box. This is my understanding. So I would like for us to think about this in general, but more importantly, thinking about how we can have some kind of guidelines for new components and things like that, because we have CAS, we have the new registry database edition, and so there are several moving parts. I would like that we as a team have some kind of streamlined narrative and say, if you need to deploy something, these are the rules. And then we give them all the automation, not only for them, but also for us. Otherwise, it's just an extra thing to take care of and things like that. Okay.
Yeah, agreed. Thanks for putting that together. We definitely need to have these guidelines. Do you think that this is holding us up now? So I know, like Kaz, we're working through how to get their registry same. Do you think that if we work out for one of those, that will give us the guidelines we need, or do we need to work this out ahead of one of those?
No, I think that as long as we keep thinking that this should not be a specific change for a specific component, but more about how we deploy component X in auto-deploy fashion within the product, I think we are fine. So that's the only concern that I have.
Good. Okay. So this ties in, I think, Skarbek, with the sort of thinking you were doing as well for registry, right? Cool. Okay. Let me put all these pieces together, and we can. It's going to be a mini project, right? So, we should prioritize that around other things we have. But yeah, let's make sure we actually have got some guidelines and know what we can advise people for that stuff. Cool. Was there anything else you wanted to raise on that, Alessio? No, cool. Great. So kind of related to point A is I'm really trying to help us reduce the number of projects we have in flight at any one time. So we have a few coming up to sort of wrapping up, I believe. So we've got the default branch testing. Looks like we're making good progress. So hopefully we're seeing like sort of a natural end to that part. We've been closing out some of the epics around coordinated deployment. Changelog is progressing really well. So I'm going to do a load of stuff to try and help give us a bit more visibility so we can actually contain that a bit more this quarter, mostly so that we have more than one person on each project. So rollbacks, we're making good progress having everybody involved, but let's keep up with that so we actually can make good progress on OKRs and also have collaboration as well. So don't panic if you don't have your own epic. It is intentional and there will be lots of kind of work and responsibility we need to iron out for each of those as well. Jarv, over to you.
Thanks, Amy. I was talking to Brent this morning about root cause labels for incidents, and I'm curious on your opinion about adding another root cause for deployments. And I realized like we don't want to add a lot of these categories, and I mentioned here like I think we're seeing some alerts that are based on symptoms of deployments. Like we had one today where there were HA proxy error rate increase, and I noticed like, okay, there's a deployment ongoing. I don't think an incident issue was open for that. Maybe it should have been. And we do have this category like saturation, which is very generic, but I would like to start tracking this because I think it's helpful. It's helpful to us to kind of see like, okay, are we continually seeing problems during deployments? Like, are we tripping our SLOs during deployments? And I don't have a good way to measure that. What do you guys think?
Do you mean from a root cause from like our deployment code or root cause from a thing we were deploying?
Yeah, I think you could say it's our deployment code, but I think it's more like errors during deploys that we can't otherwise explain except say that it was due to a deployment. And that's not a great answer, but it seems like we've been kind of saying that a lot with certain alerts. And I want to track that because if we are kind of like getting numb to, oh, there's a deployment in progress, of course we're going to have a page. Like I want to avoid that, right? So, I mean, part of the answer is like we need to be creating incidents for more of these issues, but I think on-call is sort of like inundated with, I mean, today was pretty quiet, knock on wood, but in the past, like things, they don't open up incidents all the time for alerts that fire and clear.
So we do have a label for deployment related like incidents. It's not a root cause. And that's kind of why I asked you, like, are we, if the root cause is code we're using to deploy stuff causes an incident, I think that's a root cause, but it is not a root cause if it was a thing we were deploying caused us an incident, if that makes sense. But we can track those. We have the deployment related incident label. So anything that any incident we raise as a result of something happened during a deployment should have the deployment related incident label.
Yeah,
but then
I don't
they
know.
may have an additional root cause.
Yeah, are we following that generally? I just haven't. I wasn't really aware that this was a thing that we should be doing.
I think they all are. I add it when I see them, but yeah, I believe they're all labeled. Okay. Yeah. So then what I would expect is they would have like a deployment related incident label, which says we saw something related to an incident that was, related to a deployment, there was an incident. And then ideally there'd be like root cause software change or something so we can actually tie it back to like the gap was QA tests or something like that.
But I think what Jarvis is trying to get here is that the root cause might be a configuration related to how, say, our web service is configured, which causes error rates because we kick off 30,000 people that are all connected to our WebSockets or something. Or it could be, deployer did something wrong and didn't properly drain a node from HA proxy and causing a high error rate. I think that's what Jarvis is trying to drive towards. And I don't think I think we need a root cause label for that.
Yeah, it's like it's sort of like saturation. I mean, it is
saturation,
like
config change, release compatibility. These are the three things that may break something during a deployment. If you deploy something that is not backward or forward compatible, yes, it's because of the deployment, but it's because you change something that is not compatible. Or if we have an extra label that we have that say that this incident happened because of a deployment, then the root cause can map on any of those ones. Software change can even be in the deployer itself, right? We changed something in the deployer that is broken and gave us an outage.
Yeah, so I guess like what I'm thinking of then, I guess it'd be the combination of saturation and it's a deployment related incident. Those two labels maybe get what I want for this. And we can start with that. Like that sounds okay to me, I guess. Saturation is sort of overloaded here.
I think it's about ownership, right? I mean, it's the question, when should we as a team take ownership of incidents if it's maybe related to things that we do and our responsibility, right? And we could have saturation because, we don't have enough API loads when we do a canary deploy, but it could also be because we, I don't know, roll too many nodes at the same time, and that should be maybe fixed on our side. So that would be maybe a good way to assign it to us, because we are the ones who are dealing with these kind of things for an SRE, right?
I say like we move on because I don't want to take up too much time, and I'm happy to like move this into an issue if there's more to discuss. But I wasn't really aware of this other label, I guess. So if this label is being used, then maybe this is the right way to track it.
Cool. I was trying to find an incident to show you, but yeah, I'll if you have an issue, I'll ping over some so you can see it. But not against the root cause of some deployment related code caused an incident. Like if that is the root cause, then great. But I don't want to end up with us sort of assigning root cause for things that were like application bugs, for example.
Yeah.
So thank
you.
I linked the handbook item where this is logged, Jar. So take a look at that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Nice. Thanks.
And the next item is just an FYI for the event logging. We have a lot of events being logged now for all configuration, deployment, feature flag related changes in one place. I put this link, like when you declare an incident, you'll have a link to this immediately, so you can see like what happened up until the incident occurred. And if you could think of anything else we should add to this, we can. It's pretty easy to add them, or just like just curling to Elasticsearch basically. So it's pretty lightweight, simple.
Is that something additional that like release managers should be checking, or how should we use this?
Well, I guess the first thing is that if there is an incident and we want to kind of narrow down, okay, is this related to a deployment? Right now, it's very hard to do that by looking at pipelines. Like you have to see when the web started and when the web ended or something like that. So for release management, this is like going to be very helpful to see whether an incident was caused by a particular fleet deployment for one, or a Kubernetes deployment, or a Kubernetes configuration change, these sort of things. Feature flag, anything like that.
Nice. Do we have a runbook to explain that?
Well,
because if I'm the release manager, I'm not going to make that link. I just warn you in advance.
Yeah, I mean, I put the link. The link is right on the incident issue when you open it up. So that's you'll see it right there. There is a README for this, but I don't know. We don't have a run book. Let's see. Maybe we'll create a run book for it.
Okay, that's fine. If it's on the incident issue, it could be fine. Great. Cool. Thanks for that. Is there anything else anybody would like to raise?